Hi, and welcome to this time of prayer. And how do we find happiness? Right? We have this sense in our culture that we are supposed to be pursuing happiness. How do we get it? And yet it seems fleeting. Maybe we get it for a half second because often happiness is based upon events outside ourselves. And I am talking about happiness as opposed to joy. Joy is something we choose and we cultivate no matter what is going on around us. So happiness, how do we find happiness? How do we find those things that fill us, that make us smile, that makes us go, yeah, all right. So for today, I've got Proverbs chapter 22, verses 9 through 11. Happy are generous people, because they give some of their food to the poor. Remove the mocker and conflict disappears. Judgment and shame also stop. Those who love a pure heart, their speech is gracious, and the king is their friend. So here we've got this sense about gratitude, that gratitude is playing a part in happiness of how we are generous with ourselves, with time, with resources, with the way that we engage with others, that happiness can be found in those moments. And this sense of remove the mocker and conflict disappears, judgment and shame also stop. Of going, wait a minute, what are we inviting into our lives that we can say, you know what, no, we're not going to have the judgment and shame. I'm not inviting that in, because those things damper, annihilate happiness. The pursuit of happiness, it conflicts with those things. And so to begin to think about of how we can be generous in our lives, what that looks like, even generous with words, how we can be generous and how we can say to some things, whoa, wait, we're not inviting you in, such as judgment and shame. We are pushing that off. And so that sense of also those who love a pure heart, what are we also loving? What are we loving? Because there we may find a little happiness. Now, of course, we love others, but what else do we love? Such as a pure heart, such as some way that we conduct ourselves. Do we throw it in? Maybe it's music, maybe it's art. What are the things that we love, that cultivate, that are part of our happiness? Pray with me. Oh God, as we go through our days, trying to figure out, trying to find that happiness, help us, oh God, to understand that connection between having a generous spirit, between how we can be generous, whether it's with our time, our words, our resources, our abilities. And help us, oh God, to understand what we invite into our lives and what we need to say no more of, whether that is judgment and shame. Help us, oh God, this day to understand what we are loving so that we will know, so that we can find, we can cultivate happiness. Amen. Have a good one.